Do you have contacts?
I have a manager. Listen, let me tell you something.
No, not a manager. I mean, could you get Ben Stiller on the phone?
No. Ben, I've had a falling out with Ben Stiller. I've had, Judd Apatow still believes in me.
He does.
And I think that Marshall Cook, by the way, is a young Judd Apatow. I worked with a young Judd Apatow. Judd Apatow.
What did you work with him on?
On the Ben Stiller show.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he was the head writer, and he was a young Judd Apatow. Now he's an old Judd Apatow, and I found the new young Judd Apatow right here. And I'm hoping you are.
Yeah.
And I hope...
So Judd will take...
Thank you.
Judd will take your calls. What happened with Ben?
Well, I really don't know. I did a joke with him that I think he took the wrong way.
The teabag?
No. No.
What was the joke?
It was,
You mean to him personally?
Yeah, I sent him this little I dropped off a package at his place. I don't even want to.
You defecated on his welcome mat.
I
What
still
did you
like
do?
him.
Then tell us.
I think that the relationship is salvageable, and I don't want to kill it. So I'd rather not.
Maybe this
what
would
did you
help
do?
heal it.
Yes.
You could explain.
It would help kill it.
Heal it.
Heal it.
He was doing Tropic Thunder, and Jack Black was playing basically me.
Right.
Remember he had a blonde wig. He was like all drugged out and acting crazy. And I'm like, and I was to say the least, a little weirded out by it. And I said, if you're going to have somebody play me, just call me.
Right.
I'll play me.
Sure.
Right. But I didn't say that. Instead,
like my grandfather used to say, nobody does Andy Dick like Andy Dick.
My grandfather said that too.
Who does do a good Andy Dick?
Who?
Almost better than me, maybe better than me, Nick Kroll. Nick Kroll played me on American Dad. Everybody thinks it's me. I'm like, it's not fucking me. Which I don't understand because Seth MacFarlane and I are friends, and I've been on Family Guy a number of times as me.
Sure.
So if you want me, I'm right fucking here.
So you dropped
God damn it. I'm a little bit.
You dropped a package off at Ben's place.
At his office, and it basically had an old. They were props, some extra things I had from the Ben Stiller show. There was a cast picture, and I wrote a letter that in ink that I was able to pretend that there were tears on that I smeared, and a script, and little props from the Ben Stiller show, and basically was saying, I guess you can have these back. I have no need for them anymore. It was kind of like saying, I guess our relationship is over. Sorry. And I think he took it. It was just a joke. And I really never told anybody that. And I found out through Jack Black that he took that personally. And I literally have never talked to him since. Not because I've tried to. I've tried to reach out. I have this problem. I've tried to.
What's the problem?
The problem of making a joke, people taking it seriously, and not being able to mend the friendship. I'm having the same thing with Howard Stern right now.
What's going on?
Well, I jokingly called him a...
Did you get Beth's cat calendar?
What is that?
I got it in the next room.
He gave you a cat calendar?
There's dogs in it, too.
I think there are dogs in there, too. They rescue dogs. They take pictures. Yeah.
Well, I think that's great. I rescue dogs, too.
So what'd you do with Stern?
Well... I've written him an apology letter, and
with tears on there.
No, this one's.
What'd you say?
Is sincere because I didn't know that he had the ability to get his feelings hurt. Would you think that he would be a man that would be so sensitive?
Stern is my interpretation of Howard is he's a passionate guy. I love him, and he's a much more sensitive guy.
Than you would know. That's what I have come to realize because I was on Fitzsimmons' podcast, and Fitzsimmons brought up that my manager had asked Fitzsimmons to ask Howard to help put me through. I think it was to put me in a rehab or whatever it was, I didn't need rehab at the time. It was a legal issue.
Really?
It was I didn't. I was completely sober.
Oh, okay.
By the way. No, that's not what it is. But my life is so crazy. But I remember now. It was for money, which I didn't ask him to do this.
Right.
But I needed some legal. I hired a lawyer that was way out of my price range. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right.
For something that I did get in trouble with when I was drinking back in the day.
Sure.
I couldn't afford it. My manager asked Greg to ask Howard, and I didn't really even know. And then he brought this up on the air. I was completely humiliated and embarrassed, and I was like, well, I just kind of was backed into a corner, and I lashed out because I was hurt, and I said, well, fuck you, I don't need money, and he wouldn't give me, because I think Greg said, oh, he wouldn't give you money, he's not going to give you money, or something,
right. You lashed
something
out.
Plugged me in, something like pushed my buttons, like poking a mangy dog or a feral, raccoon in a cage. I was just like, I was going crazy, and in that, because Howard has thrown every negative, he's called me, he's called me a dick smoking faggot, or a cock twiddling homo, or get put another dick in your butt, or take that dildo out of your butt, or do something with your butt, or your faggot butt.
Sure.
I mean, just like the list goes on and on. Not anymore, because you're not allowed to.
Right.
In this day and age.
Yeah,
it's so
sad.
PC. You can't say anything. I can say it when I'm talking about somebody else calling me that. See, I can get away with it right now.
Sure.
But I've been called every, like a cum-guzzling faggot.
Well, to be fair, there was a context to that. I was saying to Brian, first off, I had no idea you were in the room.
The mics were hot?
Number one.
Okay.
Number two, there was a context. You just sort of walked into the middle of my
listen. So he... I said chugging, but
go ahead. Let's not get...
And he said, God, I love me that.
Yeah.
He's celebrating.
Yeah, you were being nice.
So you said...
Well, so anyhow, I used a term that I had not heard before. The only time I've ever heard it before or since is out of his mouth. And he has called himself... and this, I feel weird saying it now.
But you have to, since we're this far into it.
But I used the term hooked nose Jew, and that,
I'm out of here.
It was a shitstorm of hate coming at me.
Sure.
I am not anti-Semitic, never have been. My dad is Jewish.
Sure.
I married Lena. I didn't marry her, but we have 2 kids together. She's Jewish. So my kids are basically Jewish. She has 2 other kids that she had with a Jewish man that for all intents and purposes, I adopted them. They're 100% Jewish. I live with 3 Jews.
I don't think
my whole team is Jewish. My manager, my agent, my lawyer.
What?
Everyone's Jewish.
In Hollywood?
Yeah, I know.
Manager, lawyer,
go figure.
agent?
But do you understand?
Mostly
this whole
Asian. Go ahead.
No. Because I used the term because I heard him call himself that. So I thought, I'll just use a term that he's okay with. And I did. And he was so upset. And I really feel horribly that I hurt his feelings.
Do you think you really hurt his feelings?
Yes, because he won't talk to me. He got very upset, went on he rained shit on me for it. It hurt. I had to go on a blocking spree on Twitter. I had all these people wanting to kill me.
He did this right before, right when I was booking the college tour, by the way, too, which was great.
Yeah.
He soiled the good name of Andy Dick. Is that what you're saying? Wow.
We had a little bit of...
yeah. Well, look, first off...
Come on, I try really hard. I don't like this soiled the name. I try hard. What else do you want me to do?
I don't think anyone thinks you're anti-Semitic.
I'm not. No, people do think that, and I'm not. You get it. I'm not.
I don't know that anybody thinks you're... Look, I've been accused of being, misogynistic and homophobic, and
Well, you might be a little bit of.
I don't like those people. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're talking about a guy. I've had groups that represent the Asian community, like coming after me and all that kind of shit. Like, I don't. First off, us coming after whoever does not mean whoever has it in for whatever group. Yeah. We're living in a new reality where you're allowed to work with fill in the blank. Asians, Jews, blacks, whatever. You're allowed to have friends. You're allowed to have gay friends. You're allowed to be gay yourself. You're allowed to be whatever. Yeah. And then you make a joke or you say something, and everyone points a finger at you and says you're xenophobic or you're whatever.
Exactly. If you're saying something negative about someone and you use that term,
hooked nose.
Yeah,
Jew.
if you're like if you're saying something, if you're just saying it in a funny way, it's one thing, and I think you'd still catch flack. But if you're saying something negative, especially if you're saying that person is potentially cheap, and then you use that term, you're going to be in a world of hell.
Would you stop saying that?
Just the same as if someone is saying something negative about gay people and uses the terms, Andy, that you were saying you've been called before. It's going to sound much worse than if they just sort of say them in a lighthearted manner.
I was mad at Howard, and I at that time, in that moment, I shouldn't have even been on a podcast. I was I was manic. Only like 3 months into sobriety. I was manic. I was, I probably needed a fucking drink.
No relationships and no podcasts for the first year. That's what Dr. Drew always told me.
Seriously, I shouldn't have been on. But he pushed my buttons. And here's the thing: I shouldn't have been on. And I wasn't, and never have been anti-Semitic. But I was in that moment anti-Howard.
That's where I think people get offended. I don't think Howard thinks you're anti-Semitic.
No, he does. Stop doing that,
I don't think he does. I think he just thinks you're anti-Howard. I don't think he thinks you're anti-Semitic.
Well, no, but I know exactly. Deep down, he knows I'm not anti-Semitic, but he's using that to really fuck with my career because it fucked me over. It really hurt me. Yes, he's doing it because he was hurt
Andy,
personally.
To be
I
fair
love that guy.
To you, to be fair, I'd see a lot of the arrests, a lot of the drinking, a lot of the drugs, a lot of the headlines, negative headlines. They were swirling around before this.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Well, those will hurt a career as well.
Well, I know. I know. I don't need any more help in the hurting of the career. That's my point. I know. But by the way, my career's fine. Listen, I have something coming up that I can't talk about. I'm signing. We already signed the deal.
Me or a boat? You want us to deliver?
Is this it?
Let's see if we can hear. Let's see if we can hear the.
Hooked nose.
No,
would you? I swear to God, buddy.
Hooked
nose. No, buddy.
That's the old one.
That isn't helping their movement. I see what you're talking about, Adam.
I will give a little love to...
You're supposed to help me heal this relationship,
Man,
Allison.
great. I'll blow a call into Howie.
I need to heal both of my Jewish friends. I need to heal
Man,
the relationship.
great. 100